Hello, bonjour, hola, hello, ciao, konnichiwa, ni hao, jambo, kia. How are you? Nice to see you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we have a topic on Japa. I'm sure it's a common buzzword now. Do you know? Japa actually means to run or flee. It is a Nigerian word that has made it to the Oxford English Dictionary. So you might want to check that out. It is now official. Japa is an official word. This season we will be talking about parenting. So to all the mamas and papas out there, you are welcome. Please share, like, subscribe, and let us do this together. Please write in the comment down below, and we will see how far we go. So we have questions that have been asked on the 21st Century Parenting Hub, which was created not too long ago, this year. And we've got buzzing answers, questions, and shout out to all the parents out there on the 21st Century Parenting Hub. Thank you for allowing me use your comments as well for this show. And so I would like to start by quoting Alwyn Toffler. It said, "The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn." So that is going to be our focus for the 21st Century Parenting Hub. So we have so many questions, so many, so many questions from a concerned parent, and so many we will be sharing on this show. So write your own questions, write your comments, and let us all learn together. Let us unlearn and relearn as well as we are learning. So we go on to the first question, and that is about Japa. Question 1 says, "I desperately want to relocate. I want to Japa abroad because of my children. Is it worth the risk? What are the factors to consider?" Let me take that question again. I desperately want to relocate. I want to Japa abroad because of my children. Is it worth the risk? What are the factors to consider? Okay, so I'm glad that this person understands that there are risks. In everything, there is a risk. And the question is, if I want to now, what do I need to consider? So that means those who want to leave their country and travel to a different country. It might not just be from Africa to Europe or to the US. It could also be from, it could be Japada. Japada means the reverse of Japa, that you're going back to where you came from. So what are the risks? What are the factors to consider? I will start off by sharing some comments by one of the parents on Mamas and Papas. Thank you, Mamas and Papas, on the 21st Century Parenting Hub. So it says, "Good evening, everyone. In my opinion, there are a lot of details that we need to know to help answer this question adequately. First of all, how old are the children? Is this a single parent home? If no, what is the state of the marriage, and will both parents relocate? Are the children already there and the parent want to join them, or they will all be living together? There are different dynamics in living abroad depending on the country being considered. Things to consider will include visa or legal documents that allow you stay without issues, finances, education, childcare, depending on the age of the children, emotional and social support, cultural adjustment, and possibly language barrier issues. The weather adjustment, etc. Generally, though, living abroad is possible, but the why are you moving abroad needs to be very clear to all. So that a strategy to manage the issues that may arise can be put together to facilitate a less stressful integration. Do you agree to what has just been said by one of the parents? And that parent got 4 thumbs up. That means about 4 people agree with that statement. So there are so many factors to consider. It's not just about going there, it's also about what happens after you arrive. Are you ready for those cultural changes? Are you ready for those head-turning moments, all those times when you'll be like, have I actually made the right decision? So another parent said, good evening, everyone. To Japa can be a complex and personal decision with some potential benefits and risks to consider with the children involved. The benefits include better education, improved healthcare, increased opportunities, safety and security, exposure to different cultures. Now, the risks are cultural shock and adaptation, racial or ethnic discrimination, different parenting styles. This is very key. You may need to adapt to the different parenting expectations, disciplinary methods, and educational philosophies. Then another point for the risk is financial burden. Financial challenges such as securing employment, housing, and healthcare. Also, visa and residency issues. Ultimately, the decision to relocate overseas for the sake of one's children requires careful consideration of the potential benefits and risks. As a Nigerian, it seems the benefits outweigh the risks based on the situation of our economy. My major concern here is how will you ensure your children do not get lost due to different parenting styles as seen above. It is essential to weigh prayerfully too these factors, assess your circumstances, and make an informed decision that prioritizes the well-being and best interest of the children. At the end of the day, the ball is in your court. Let me do a bit of recap on that. So we see that in situations where parents are like, I actually want to Japa because of my children. In as much as that is a very responsible thing to do, you're looking out for the future of your children. But do you know, this is a shocking one now, do you know that because of those children, you could Japada? Yes, you could Japada, meaning you could actually return back to where you were coming from, either for good or for bad. I'm sure in the news we've heard of so many children who were brought here from other countries, and you see the news, people killing, people engaging in knife crime, in drug abuse, and so many vices, that is just to mention a few. And you begin to wonder, why are these things rampant within a certain community? It's either the parents are not there to cater for them, or the children have actually decided to bow to the pressure of the cultural shock, and they're like, whoa, this is life. If this person can do it, I can do it too. So many parents struggle, to be honest. So many parents who brought their children from outside the country, I live in the UK, so I can talk about the UK, end up almost regretting that, why would this happen? I brought this child here to have a better life. Now they've turned into the worst version of themselves. And it's because of so many reasons, so many risks, so many things that needed to be considered, which were not considered before leaving. And I will go on to say a story of one boy I saw. And I will say I wasn't the only one who saw him. 2 of us actually saw him. This was early in the morning, around 4 a.m. Around 4 a.m. we went on, I'm sure you'll ask me, what am I doing around 4 a.m. to? Okay, I do wholesale buying. And right from when I got into even right from Nigeria, my mom used to teach us to buy in wholesale. So You can't see us buying, because that's how we were brought up. You can't see us buying one mudu of rice, that is not how we were brought up. So I know for some who that is how they're brought up, it works for them. For me, what works is buying wholesale. So one of the days, even when I'm in the United Kingdom, I buy in wholesale. So I went to Birmingham wholesale market, and around 4 a.m., because you have to leave very early to, to get what you want to get from the shop. So one of the days on a Saturday that we went with one other lady, we saw this boy cannot be, if he's, I would say, let me say between 10 and 14. That is the way he looked. He looked like 10 to 14. And he was strolling on the street on his own in the dark. And the first thing we thought of, what is a little boy like this looking for in the middle of the night? And you know that in this country, when you see a dog or usually a dog on its own, you'll be like, oh, this is a stray dog. And the next thing is you're calling pets people to come and pick them up and all of that. You're taking pictures because it's unusual for you to see a dog on his own. It's either they've escaped the house, or they've they're looking for their owner or something. And the same way it is when you see a child on the street, you don't see them just walking around anyhow, especially when they're little, and not even at that time of the night. Then there's something wrong. And that takes me to saying that many parents here do not have a clue of where their children are when they go to work. That child must have been doing, because the way he was walking, he wasn't walking suspiciously. He was just walking like leisurely. And my mind went to, in fact, our mind went to, where is this child coming from? Number one, it can't be from the shops, because shops are not open at that time. It's only the wholesale market that is open at that time. It cannot be, it was just walking like he was used to it. And the first thing that came to my mind, and the mind of that lady, was, why couldn't we stop to actually challenge the boy that, where are you coming from? And I know, in outside the country, is a mind your own business kind of policy in this kind of place. But actually, to be honest with you, that was what came to mind. Where was this child coming from? Outside the country, there are bills to pay. There are some have to do night work just to make ends meet, and so many things happen for parents. I would like you to watch Temilade Balogun's, that's my cousin. I'd like you to watch her video. She has lived abroad, and it will tell you some things you need to consider before you actually think of jackpotting, because they are real. Life abroad is real. We don't see money on the streets like some people claim, and we don't pluck them on trees either. And it's something you will want to think about before you make that decision. When children start sneaking out of their homes at that age, that means the parents are not aware of what's happening, and that is why social services get involved in the cases. And you see so many children being taken away from their parents because they believe they are not responsible enough to take care of those children. Those parents are not worthy of those children. So the social services come in, and children you are trying to give a better life, you end up losing them altogether. And I feel that is heartbreaking for any parent to go through that. And there are different situations, there are different stories around it. It's still it's heartbreaking, if we have to show empathy to those parents. Another person said, it is imperative for us to know what you do in Nigeria and what your husband does also for a living. What is the route you hope to come through? And another one says, it says, to all who desire to Japa, please spend some time and money visiting your desired destination to get an actual immersion into the culture. Try to fit in so as not to jump into unknown waters. Another one says, we also need to know the age of your children. If they are very little, you have to consider child care. Japa is a personal decision, and where children are involve them so they don't have concealed anger towards you. Be on the same page with all concerned so that inner issues will be adequately taken care of. True, some children did not plan for such, but the parents have thought this is the right thing to do, and they end up bringing children into that situation without asking them. Let there be a family meeting. And then there's another one. It's from a book I am currently reading called Connect to Correct. When we seek, so this is a quote from the book, when we seek control wrongfully, it shuts down creativity, value, and responsibility because it will exalt pretense and hypocrisy. You might want to take control of the whole thing and say, well, I know what is good for my children. I will do it in my own way. We should remember that we need to connect them, just from what has been said about the inner issues that some children face. Another one says, by the grace of God, your children will not get lost whether you remain in Nigeria or you are in the UK. The truth is, what are the preparations on the ground of the family structure of discipline, setting boundaries? Are the children cultured in the Word of God and prayers, and they witness the model at home as well? When we do the little, we can leave the rest to the Spirit of God to give guidance. We need to listen as we obey, and the children too will obey. Your children shall be taught of the Lord, and grace shall be their peace, in Isaiah 54 verse 13. So that's someone's suggestion. Another one says, good day. I trust everyone is keeping well. He or she may also want to check on YouTube. There was a 5 to 6 part series by Dr. Olumide Emmanuel titled Before You Japa, maybe a year or two ago. There is a lot of information that can help from those teachings. So you want to check that up. That is that for today. Thank you very much for listening, and shout out to my 21st Century Parenting Hub for all of those suggestions, opinions, advice, and caution. Thank you very much. Thank you. So look out for the parenting talk on Saturday. The one we'll be having next is digital parenting. Make sure you're there. Make sure you hook up. And you could actually click on the notify me bell so that you don't miss out when we are live. There you can ask your questions. There you can also make your own comments, and it will be nice to see you there. Take care and cheerio. Bye-bye.